The Voth had just fucked with the wrong species. Commander Jeffrey Murray's grip tightened on the console as the ultimatum from the alien empire blared through the comms. Humanity had 24 hours to surrender or be annihilated, but the Voth were about to learn that humans don't go down without one hell of a fight. Murray stormed into the emergency council meeting, the alien's words still ringing in his ears. "People, we have a situation." His voice was tight as he relayed the Voth's demands to Earth's leaders. The room erupted into chaos. Some argued for immediate capitulation, insisting that resistance was futile against the Voth's superior technology. Others pounded the table, shouting that surrender was not an option. Murray let the debate rage for a moment before slamming his fist down, silencing the room. "Listen up. What you don't know is that we've been preparing for this day for decades." He leaned forward, his eyes intense. "We have a fleet, a powerful, undetectable armada with technology that surpasses anything the Voth have." Gasps echoed around the table. The revelation hung in the air, the implications clear. Earth had a chance, but at what cost? Unveiling the fleet meant almost certain war with the formidable Voth Empire. "I say we fight," Murray growled. "If we bow to them now, we're doomed to a future of servitude. Our only path to survival is to show these alien bastards what humans are made of." But even as he spoke, Murray knew time was running out. The Voth's deadline loomed like a guillotine over humanity's neck. He had to act fast. Jumping into a small stealth craft, Murray shot to the outer reaches of the solar system for a clandestine rendezvous with a Voth representative. The meeting confirmed his worst fears. The Voth were on their way, entire worlds crushed beneath their armada. Earth's time had just been cut to 12 hours. 12 hours until utter destruction. Murray raced back, pushing his craft to its limits. But as he briefed the ashen-faced council, their indecision was clear. Panic had paralyzed them. As commander of Earth's hidden fleet, the weight of the decision settled like a stone in Murray's gut. To bare humanity's teeth and fight, or to bare its neck and submit. Billions of lives hung in the balance. The future of the human race itself lay in his hands. Murray closed his eyes, the seconds ticking down in his head. It was time for humanity to decide its fate. No more hiding, no more fear. It was time to show the galaxy what humans were really capable of, and may God help any alien that stood in their way. With seconds ticking away and no consensus from the council, Murray made the call. He slammed his hand on the comms. "This is Commander Jeffrey Murray. Authorization code, Alpha Zulu 9er. Unveil the fleet." Across Earth, hidden hangar bays rumbled open. Sleek warships, dripping with advanced weaponry, rose from their secret berths. The vessels punched through the atmosphere, assembling in a defensive perimeter around the planet. On the surface, people poured into the streets, staring up in awe and fear at the sudden appearance of the mighty armada. Shock and confusion reigned as the populace grappled with the reality that their world possessed a powerful, hidden fleet. Murray broadcast on all frequencies, his voice steely with perseverance. "Attention, Voth Armada. This is Commander Jeffrey Murray of the Earth Defense Fleet. We will not surrender. Earth stands ready to defend itself. Withdraw now or face the consequences." Aboard the Voth flagship, Emperor Kalar snarled at the view screen filled with the unexpected human ships. "So, the primitives bare their teeth." His eyes narrowed. "All ships, attack! Crush them!" The Voth armada surged forward, energy weapons blazing. The human fleet met them head-on, their advanced shielding absorbing the onslaught. Murray's ship wove through the chaos, outmaneuvering Voth vessels with preternatural skill. "Focus fire on their command ship!" Murray barked. Human weapons pounded the Voth flagship, its shields flickering under the assault. Across the battlefield, human ships danced around the lumbering Voth warships, pummeling them with precise strikes. The alien vessels reeled, hulls buckling under the onslaught. But the Voth fought back viciously. A lucky shot from a Voth cannon punched through the shields of a human frigate, turning it into a blooming fireball. As the battle raged, a Voth dreadnought broke through the human lines. Its prow crackled with energy as it aimed a massive beam weapon at Earth's surface. Cities burned in Murray's mind as he realized the devastation that shot would cause. "All power to engines," he roared. Murray's ship leaped forward, intercepting the dreadnought just as it fired. The beam slammed into Murray's vessel, the force rocking it to its core. Warning klaxons blared as the ship's hull integrity plummeted. Murray gripped the helm, eyes locked on the dreadnought. With a defiant bellow, he rammed the Voth ship. The two vessels crumpled together in a cataclysmic explosion, the shockwave rattling the nearby ships. For a moment, the battle seemed to pause as both sides reeled from the loss of their commanders. But then, with a roar of fury, the human fleet surged forward with renewed ferocity. They tore into the Voth ranks, fueled by rage and grief. The Voth ships buckled under the assault, explosions blossoming across their hulls. Emperor Kalar, his flagship crippled and burning, gave the bitter order. "Retreat! All ships, retreat!" The battered Voth armada limped away, fleeing Earth's orbit. Cheers erupted aboard the human ships even as they mourned their fallen leader. On the planet's surface, Earth's leaders watched the aftermath of the battle unfold. The weight of the moment settled upon them. The cost of victory was high, but the alternative, subjugation under the Voth, was unthinkable. They straightened their shoulders, united in purpose. Earth's resources and people would be mobilized. The fleet would be bolstered. Humanity would stand tall among the stars, ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead. In the coming days, Murray's sacrifice would be celebrated across the planet. The man who gave his life to save millions would be remembered as a hero for generations. But even as Earth mourned, the galaxy shifted. The Voth, seething with humiliation, began to gather allies, eager for revenge. Other species, once content to ignore the upstart humans, now eyed them with a mix of fear and calculating interest. Earth stood on the precipice of a new age, its destiny irrevocably altered. The leaders and commanders who inherited Murray's legacy now faced the daunting task of navigating a galaxy suddenly aware of humanity's presence and power. The war was won, but the struggle had only just begun. Earth would need every ounce of ingenuity, courage, and unity to forge a path through the treacherous cosmos. The survival and freedom of the human race hung in the balance. The dust had barely settled from Earth's victory when the gears of industry began to turn. Shipyards across the planet hummed with activity as humanity poured its resources into expanding the fleet. Captured Voth vessels were meticulously disassembled, their alien technology scrutinized and adapted for human use. At the heart of this monumental effort stood Commander William Harding, hand-picked by the late Jeffrey Murray to lead Earth's military expansion. Harding paced the floor of the Orbital Command Center, his eyes fixed on the holographic displays showcasing the new fleet's progress. "Status report," Harding barked, turning to his chief engineer. "Sir, the prototypes are exceeding expectations. We've managed to boost engine output by 30% without compromising structural integrity. Weapon systems are online and fully integrated." Harding nodded, a hint of pride crossing his face. The new warships took shape before his eyes, sleek hulls overflowing with advanced weaponry. They moved with a grace that belied their size, each vessel a testament to human ingenuity and perseverance. Meanwhile, light years away, the Voth Empire was in turmoil. Emperor Kalar, disgraced by the defeat at Earth, found himself stripped of power. His daughter Trelana, flanked by loyal guards, strode into the imperial throne room. "Father!" she hissed, her voice dripping with contempt. "Your weakness has brought shame upon our people. It's time for new leadership." Kalar's protests were silenced as Trelana's supporters overwhelmed the palace defenses. The old emperor was dragged away, leaving Trelana to ascend the throne. Her first decree echoed through the halls of power. "We will crush these human vermin and any who dare stand with them. Every world, every species under our dominion will be mobilized for war." Back on Earth, Harding received troubling news. Intercepted Voth transmissions revealed the forced conscription of conquered species into their military. The stakes of the coming conflict had just been raised. Harding convened an emergency meeting with Earth's leadership. We can't face this alone, he insisted, pointing to star charts of nearby systems. There are others out there, oppressed by the Voth. If we can reach them, offer our support and technology. The plan was risky, but the potential rewards were too great to ignore. Covert teams were dispatched to nearby star systems, seeking out those who might join Earth's cause. On the Voth homeworld, Empress Trelana raged at her advisors. Spies report human agents spreading dissent among our subject worlds. Accelerate our preparations. Send out the advance fleets. We'll crush any rebellion before it can take root. Light years away, at a remote outpost on the fringes of human space, alarms blared across Harding's flagship. A Voth battle group had just dropped out of FTL, catching the Earth fleet by surprise. "All hands to battle stations!" Harding shouted, strapping himself into the command chair. "Looks like the Voth want round two." The space around the outpost erupted in chaos as energy beams lanced between the opposing fleets. Harding's ships, though outnumbered, danced through the storm of Voth fire. Their superior maneuverability allowed them to strike at weak points in the alien formation. On the bridge of the Voth flagship, General Tholax snarled in frustration. "How are these human ships outperforming us? Intensify forward firepower." The battle raged for hours, a desperate slugging match between Harding's advanced warships and Tholax's numerically superior force. Slowly but surely, the tide began to turn in humanity's favor. Tholax, seeing defeat looming, made a fateful decision. "All power to engines," he commanded. "We'll ram their command ship and take their leader with us." Harding's eyes widened as he saw the massive Voth vessel bearing down on them. "Evasive maneuvers," he ordered, but it was too late to completely avoid the collision. The two ships impacted with a thunderous crash of metal on metal. Harding was thrown from his chair as systems across his vessel flickered and died. When the dust settled, he found his ship crippled but intact, and the Voth flagship a shattered wreck. "Sir," his tactical officer reported, "we're picking up a distress beacon from the Voth wreckage. It's General Tholax." Harding's expression resolute. "Bring him aboard. We're taking a prisoner." With the Voth fleet routed and their commander captured, Harding ordered his battered ships to limp to the nearest habitable world for repairs. What they found there would change the course of the war. The planet's surface bore the scars of Voth occupation, shattered cities and enslaved populations toiling under alien overseers. Harding, disguised as a civilian, slipped away from the repair efforts to meet with the planet's subjugated leaders. In a dimly lit basement, far from prying eyes, Harding laid out his proposal. "Join us," he urged. "Together, we can break the Voth's hold on this sector of space. We have the technology, the ships. All we need are allies willing to fight for their freedom." The alien leaders exchanged glances, hope warring with fear in their eyes. Finally, one stepped forward. "We will join your rebellion," he declared. "The Voth's reign of terror ends now." As Harding returned to his ship, plans already forming in his mind, a spark of optimism burned in his chest. The Voth Empire had made a critical mistake. They'd given their victims a reason to unite. Now, it was time to make them pay for it. Aboard his flagship, Harding gathered his officers. "Ladies and gentlemen," he began, a fierce glint in his eye, "it's time we took the fight to the Voth. Here's what we're going to do. All ships, prepare for jump." Harding's voice rang out across the comms. "Operation Thunderstrike begins now." The massive Allied armada hung in the void, a testament to humanity's newfound alliances. Earth's latest warships bristled with weapons alongside vessels from a dozen liberated worlds. Harding stood on the bridge of his flagship, the EDF Defiant, his face etched with grit. "Cloaking systems engaged," his XO reported. "We're invisible to Voth sensors." Harding nodded. "Execute jump sequence." Space warped around them as the fleet surged towards Varash Prime. They emerged from FTL on the edge of the Voth home system, the planet's defenses unaware of the coming storm. "Strike teams, you have a go," Harding ordered. Sleek stealth shuttles peeled away from the main fleet, their engines barely a whisper as they slipped past orbital defenses. On board, Human and alien commandos checked their gear one last time. As the strike force touched down, the real fireworks began. The Allied fleet decloaked, energy weapons blazing. Voth shipyards erupted in flames as swarms of fighters tore through their ranks. "Press the attack!" Harding bellowed. "Don't let up!" On the surface, the strike teams fought their way through Voth guard positions. They moved with practiced efficiency, disabling defense grids and communication arrays. In her fortified bunker, Empress Trelana raged at her subordinates. "How did they breach our defenses? Where are our ships?" Her answer came in static-filled reports of devastation, then silence as the palace comm system went dark. "Empress!" a guard burst in. "We must evacuate. The humans—" The door exploded inward. Human marines poured through the opening, their weapons trained on Trelana and her guards. Commander Harding strode in, his eyes locking with the Voth leaders. "It's over, Empress. Surrender now, and we can end this bloodshed." Trelana's eyes blazed with fury. She lunged for a weapon, but Harding was faster. A stun blast caught her square in the chest, dropping her to the floor. "Secure the prisoner," Harding ordered, "and get me a direct line to what's left of the Voth High Command." As Trelana was led away in restraints, Harding turned his attention to the bigger picture. The Voth homeworld had fallen, but pockets of resistance remained across their former empire. "All ships, this is Commander Harding," he broadcast across the fleet. "Vorash Prime is secure. Fan out to your designated sectors. It's time to finish this." The Allied armada split apart, each battle group jumping to a different system. Their mission, to crush the last vestiges of Voth control and liberate countless worlds. On the bridge of the Defiant, Harding allowed himself a moment of reflection. Humanity had come so far since that first desperate battle against the Voth invasion. Now they stood at the head of a galactic alliance, ready to shape the future of known space. "Sir," his XO interrupted his thoughts, "we're receiving transmissions from dozens of systems. They're pledging support to the alliance." Harding nodded, a hint of a smile crossing his face. "Let's go welcome them to the family." The Defiant's engines flared to life, carrying humanity's flagship towards a new era of interstellar cooperation and exploration. The Defiant dropped out of FTL, its hull scorched from countless battles. Commander Harding stood on the bridge, surveying the devastation wrought by years of conflict. Broken Voth vessels drifted lifelessly, a stark reminder of the Empire's fall. "Status report," Harding called out, his voice tinged with exhaustion. "Sir, we've secured the Voth capital and surrounding systems," his XO replied, "but we're getting reports of unrest in the outer colonies." Harding nodded, processing the information. "Set course for the detention center. It's time I had another chat with our guest." The Defiant glided into orbit around a heavily fortified space station. Harding made his way to the high-security wing, where Empress Trelana languished in her cell. "Empress," Harding began, standing before the energy barrier, "your people are suffering. With a word from you, we can end this bloodshed." Trelana's eyes blazed with defiance. "Never! I'd sooner see my empire burn than submit to human rule." "This isn't about ruling," Harding countered, frustration evident in his voice. "It's about coexistence, cooperation. Your people can have a place in this new galactic order." "Empty words from a conqueror," Trelana spat. "My loyal subjects will never bow to you." As if on cue, alarms blared throughout the station. Harding's communicator crackled to life. "Commander, we've got reports of coordinated attacks across 3 sectors. Civilian casualties are mounting." Harding's face hardened. He turned back to Trelana, who wore a smug expression. "This is on you," he said quietly, before striding out of the detention block. Back on the Defiant, Harding pored over intelligence reports. The attacks were precise, targeting newly liberated worlds with brutal efficiency. "Sir," his intelligence officer interjected, "we've traced the attacks. They're being coordinated by the Voth High Council." Harding's eyes widened. "The Council? I thought we'd neutralized them when we took the capital." Apparently not, sir. They've gone to ground, using old Imperial bunkers as command centers. Harding's mind raced, formulating a plan. Prep our best strike teams. We're going to hit them hard and fast. Days later, Harding watched from orbit as his forces stormed the hidden Voth strongholds. The battle was fierce, but human ingenuity prevailed against Voth's stubbornness. "We've secured the council chambers," a breathless voice reported over the comms. "But, sir, Empress Trelana is here. She's escaped." Harding felt a chill run down his spine. "Stop her at all costs!" But it was too late. Trelana had already accessed the bioweapon controls. Harding watched in horror as reports flooded in of a deadly pathogen spreading across multiple systems. "Sir," his science officer said, voice quavering, "we've analyzed the bioweapon. It's unlike anything we've seen. If left unchecked, it could wipe out all life in the affected sectors within days." Harding's shoulders sagged under the weight of what he knew he had to do. "How quickly can we deploy our terraforming tech to those systems?" The science officer's face paled. "Sir, that would render those worlds uninhabitable for centuries. The civilian death toll—" "I know," Harding cut him off, his voice barely above a whisper. "But if we don't act, billions more will die. Make the preparations." Hours later, Harding stood alone on the observation deck, watching as the terraforming beams lanced out from his ships. The affected planets glowed briefly before fading to dull, lifeless orbs. Billions saved, millions sacrificed. The weight of command had never felt heavier. In the days that followed, Harding threw himself into the gargantuan task of rebuilding. He oversaw the trials of captured Voth leaders, dismantled their remaining power structures, and worked tirelessly to forge a lasting peace. But everywhere he went, he felt the stares, the whispers. Many hailed him as a hero, the man who had broken the Voth Empire, but others saw him as a butcher, responsible for the deaths of countless innocent Voth civilians. As the years wore on, Harding found himself growing weary. The burden of his choices caused great concern upon him. He began to seek out promising young leaders from across the Alliance, knowing that soon it would be time to pass the torch.
You have reached the end of the story. If you enjoyed this story and want to support us, please leave a like and subscribe to our channel, and for every comment that says 88, I will heart every single one of them. Thank you for your time.